Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The world leaders are gathering in New York City, and they all come in front of a podium and they have their little speeches over there. And this is in a nutshell, what's going on over there. There's a few countries, about 5, who tried to shame each and every other country that doesn't think the way they want those countries to think. So we have France, I should start with Great Britain, France, Germany, United States of America. So far, these are the countries who are trying to shame everybody else into condemning something that they did not condemn so far, which is the Russia-Ukraine war. Now remember, I would say 99% of the world has nothing to do with that thing. That could happen and they don't hear about it. You can say, yeah, it might affect them. Yeah, the grain could affect them. But the rest have nothing to do with it. Like the Europeans, they had nothing to do with it until they got involved. But an order is an order. They have to accomplish it, complete it. So you have here, I read a few articles, titles and all. It's the scramble for the world. And it's Germany telling other countries, hey, you gotta make up your mind. This is the time you should be with us. Macron tries to, again, shame everybody else. Even Zelensky said in some interviews, oh, you can't be on the fence. This is the time you have to pick sides. Why? Because we tell you so. The African Union was a leader over there. I'm going to make another video just special for that. They said, we don't want to be in the middle of a new Cold War. Leave us out of it. The problem is, there's a second scramble for Africa, which is Westerners are trying to get African resources more than before. Why? Because now it's Europe, United States, against China. And China has more money than these guys. That's a big problem. He can outbid them whenever they want. That's the problem. Before, it was, the United States who was coming and saying, yeah, we're gonna help you with this aid, and then with aid, I want you to implement that, I want you to implement that, I want you to implement that. So that's how they got in. Countries who were unable, even now, to support themselves, like a family, work in deficit, live their lives in deficit. All of a sudden, the banker shows up. I'm gonna give you some money, but you gotta write your house off, and you're gonna still work in deficit, and then they take your house, which they will take over your property. So that's how it worked until China showed up with more money than these guys. So it's from one master to a different master. The problem is masters do not like one another. So it's a real fight on who's who, what's what. It seems like China has a head start, if you can believe that. Way ahead of the United States at this point. So they're trying to influence these guys with threats and blackmail, because that's the way it works. So these weasels, the Western weasels, come and tell African countries, Asian countries, you gotta pick a side. South American countries. And they don't know how to hide these guys because they don't have balls. And they can say, you know what, don't tell me what to do. There are some countries that say that, but they're on this hand. So this is the way the world is run. So this is what happens at this point at the United Nations. I watched some videos and some little speeches over there, and I felt like I was throwing up. So much hypocrisy and so much amnesia these guys have, some of them. When they point a finger at someone or some countries of, anyway, doing something that they did 10 times worse. And they tried everybody to do something with that. In this case, Russia. I'm not saying Russia is pure or anything, but it's very, bad taste when you see countries that have armies all around the world, including France. France have armies in Africa. Now Africans are kicking them out, and they want the Russians in. There are some articles saying that, waving Russian flags and get the French out. What were the French doing over there in Mali and Burkina Faso and even in Nigeria? What were they doing over there? Colonizing again? The same. Money. With money you do whatever. You buy those guys in charge and you keep them over there until they follow your orders. Unfortunately, it's been like this, is like this, and will always be like this, because that's the way we are. We can't pass a level of civilization. We, human organisms, how do you want to call us? I don't want to call us human race or organisms, because we're organisms. We're going to be the same. That's the way we act. We can't pass a certain level. That's why each and every civilization gets to a apex, a maximum, and then it collapses because it creates the same kind of society, the same kind of, they want to feel good. They don't want to work anymore. They want to have a fun, good life, and then they become soft. They become soft and they implode. And then when they implode, that's always an outside threat that will take over, and then they grow, or not grow, just destroy them. Like for instance, you have the Huns. They didn't create anything. Then you have the Mongols. What did they create in Europe? Nothing. They came and just plundered everything. But they beat everybody else to one point when they were stopped, right? But some are like that. And in this case, you have, unfortunately or fortunately, the US civilization, which is a continuation of the Western civilization, it's crumbling. It's crumbling. And maybe there are some other countries who try to be the continuation or an evolution, continuous evolution of the Western civilization. They are not as strong, and these guys want to destroy them. That's another thing. It's curious. But let's look around you in your everyday life and see if you have someone who's doing okay, has a good life, good family dynamics, it works perfect, whatever, it's perfect that it can work. You will see people around who are jealous, envious, and what do they try to do? Destroy it. Why? That's the way we are. We have this, all of us, more or less. And some of us have it more, some of us have it less. And the problem is this, how much power those with more have. Because those with more power are gonna destroy the other ones. And unfortunately, there are some energies inside of us that come from certain complexes that make us fight. And when we get to a point, we say, okay, now we won. But we are pieces of shit when we get to that position. And then they become destructive. And then you have tyrants. I mean, yeah, you can go to Plato and, Philosopher King and all that, but show me that one. Show me that. Marcus Aurelius, please. And if you show me one, why would be only one? Show me two, show me three. Show me a pattern. You can't. You can't show me you show me 10, 15 people. How many leaders were along this earth, this planet's history? How many? Where are the philosopher kings? Where are the benevolent leaders? There are none. And if there are not too many. And after them, everything crumbled. Because we can't break a ceiling. We can't. That's the way we are. That's the way we are. We always get in the same boat. Look at Rome. Crumbled on its own and from outside influences, of cultural influences. Not military, cultural influences and religious influences, which are also cultural. Yeah? Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.